Hi everybody, it's Gemma, welcome back to Pampered Wolf. I am in the midst of a foundation review, so while I usually go off camera and apply lots of other products, I thought I would actually do this on camera today as a little added extra. So I've got a few new products to try out in this video today, from Revolution in the brand new XX range, to NATASHA DENONA, Hoodie Beauty, and Wayne Goss, everybody. Big up for Wayne Goss. If you are interested in seeing my thoughts and feelings on those, then please do stick around. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit on that notification bell so you don't miss any future uploads. I upload on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 8 PM London time, and I'm also on Instagram if you want to check me out over there. It's at Pampered Wolf, all lowercase, no spaces. Okay, so firstly, I'm gonna do my eye makeup. I'm gonna go into a product that isn't new. Oh, a little bit much there. This is my P. Louise shadow base. Absolutely love it. Completely and utterly swear by it. It's just amazing. Okay, so I'm gonna go straight into the NATASHA DENONA Star Palette. Isn't that just stunning? Absolutely beautiful. I bought this on the back of trialing out the mini gold palette, which if you watched my full face of favorites video, you will know that this one is my favorite go-to palette. I may have only had it for around about 6 weeks, but I've had this on my eyes so many times, and we're in a climate where I'm not wearing very much makeup at all, so that is actually quite impressive. I love this palette and the quality of the shadows are excellent. And it's quite an affordable palette for a high-end palette. So I bought this one on the back of this one, and I've got to say I was a little bit disappointed when it arrived because this one looked exactly like the picture when it first arrived, and this one didn't. So the shade here looked very brown and with a grey tinge. It didn't really look very blue, and it's actually taken me rubbing my finger in that to release all of the blue pigments which were underneath a layer of grey brown tinge. So definitely if you get this one, then you may need to do that as well, but like I said, not had this on my eyes yet, so let's get some on. So I'm going to dip straight into this shade here, knock off the excess. I've got my Refa 16 brush, which is a beautiful fluffy brush, and I'm just going to outline the eye, so just the outer V, and then buff that into the corner. And I have a text, everybody. Really should have put my phone on silent, I'm sorry. Ding! She's arrived. This is a lovely, lovely colour. So that is really, really natural. Just a lovely colour. If you look at the difference, you definitely added some dimension on this side. So I'm going to add the same shade on the brush and just deepen that up a little. Again, just on that outer V, just buff that in. So nice. Really is a great colour. Super, super pretty. So I'm actually going to go in with my finger and add this to the centre of the lid, which is the bluey shade, which doesn't look massively blue on your finger, which is the one thing that I was a little bit disappointed about, but it has that petrol-y sheen. So let's see, this one does remind me of the shade that you get in the Laura Mercier Parisian Nudes palette. But I think the Parisian Nude shade is more pigmented in the blue, whereas when this is on the lid, it looks a little bit more brown. So just like the Parisian Nude shade, I'm going to keep on layering this up until I get the effect that I want. So this one just doesn't seem to want to grab to the lid. It's just staying on my finger. If it's got shadow on there already, it's just not sticking. So that is disappointing. Let's try it with a brush. No, still nothing, which is, this is a real shame. I've got a feeling you're gonna have to put this on first before you apply any transition shades, which defeats the object for me. It's such a shame because I absolutely loved the gold palette, but this particular shadow in this palette has been a little bit of a letdown, so I'm going to cover that up and use something else. Let's try this beautiful rose goldy shade that's in the centre. So that's definitely adhering to everything, which is beautiful, absolutely beautiful shade. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of depth on the outer V using this shade here. I'm just going to tap that in place. And then use my fluffy brush and just blend that in. Okay, so now I'm evened up a little bit. I am going to test out this 5th shade here. Now, I'm not usually one to throw absolutely everything at an eye look and use every single shade within the palette, but there are only 5 shades here. You can use them all together, which is what I love about NATASHA DENONA mini palettes. So I'm just going to take a little bit of that goldy shade and just pop that right in the center of the lid, just to give a little bit of extra dimension just in that center, and that is so beautiful. Really, really beautiful. Okay, let's move on to concealer and really clean up that under eye. The concealer that I'm going to be using today is the Conceal XX Super Fix Concealer, and it's the brand new XX range from Revolution. Looks very similar to the Hourglass concealer in my opinion. It's frosted glass with a black lid. So let's get some of this on. God, I'm not sure if this is Gemma proof. I actually can't. Oh, there we go. That was a struggle. That was quite hard. Really had to use my muscles there. Okay, let's have a look at the applicator, which is quite unusual. It's quite a nice shape for really getting underneath that under eye and getting into all of those nooks and crannies whilst still being quite flexible. It's quite stiff but still a little bit flexible, so this is going to be great if you apply your concealer directly underneath your eyes with the applicator, which I don't. I like to apply it to the back of my hand and then apply it to the under eye using a brush. So that's what I'm going to do today. It's very, very thin consistency. Just going to apply exactly the same way that I would normally do. So a dot in that corner, a dot in that corner, and then quickly start to blend where I need it. And then once I've got that in place, I'll then smooth it over with a sponge. This is drying down really, really fast. Really, really fast. And I don't think this is going to need setting, which is a result. This is quite nice. Let's just pad that in place just to smooth it over. This is very, very smooth. It's good coverage as well. I mean, when I bend down like this, you can still see some discoloration, but you know, upright, that is good. I'm gonna leave that to dry before I add any more over the dark circle. It's practically dry on the back of my hand now, so I'm going to apply a little bit more product just to make sure. Oh God, you really do need to be Popeye to get the applicator out of the jar. Is that what you did? That might have been the worst impression. I might be getting it mixed up with somebody else and you're all looking at me like, what? So I'm impressed. I'm impressed with the coverage. I'm impressed with how it's gone on. I'm impressed with how quickly it's dried down. How I don't think this is going to need to be set, which is a major bonus. So self-setting concealer. Pretty much impressed is the word I'm going to use throughout the concealer talking. Okay, so I'm not going to build that up anymore. Whilst that's drying down, I'm going to go off camera and do my brows because it's not a new product and you've seen me do it lots of times before, so I'll be right back. Okay, brows complete. My concealer has creased a tiny bit really close to my lash line, so I am just going to take a little bit of my Laura Mercier powder and just press that in place where I'm getting the creasing. But there's no creasing down here or up here. It's just where my chunkier wrinkles are, and my eyes are really, really movable, like everybody's eyes are. I don't know why I just said that. Anyway, I have an expressive face is what I meant to say. Okay, I'm gonna go back into the NATASHA DENONA palette and just take some of this shade because I don't want anything overly dramatic today. So just gonna take a small brush and dip into that and then pop that on the lash line. So just to finish that off, I am going to dip into this deeper brown shade right on the outer edge and just connect the top and bottom lash line together. And there we go. Right, we're going to move on to the Huda Beauty Legit Lashes Mascara. Now this has got two different sides. It's got volume, which is this side, and curl and length. Now, this is going to be slightly challenging because loads of you have noticed that my lashes are really, really long and curled at the moment, and that is because I did a lash lift. Now, there are two really good things about doing a lash lift. Your lashes look really long and the curl stays, but there's one negative. Actually putting the mascara on is a challenge. So this isn't going to be the best test of this. I've had this on my lashes already and I absolutely love it, but please don't judge this mascara because it's difficult to apply for me, because every single mascara at the moment is really difficult to apply for me. We're gonna do volume on one side. This is just phenomenal, absolutely fantastic. I'm just concentrating at first right down at the bottom of my lashes. I'm not saying this is what you should do, but at the moment it's what I have to do. So now I've got one coat at the base of the lash and I've got none on the tops of my lashes, but I'm just gonna let that dry down a minute. We're gonna put the curl and length on the other side. Now, you're not gonna really see very much. This one is slightly different, so it is a curved wand, whereas the volume mascara was a little bit chunkier and more in like a hexagonal shape. It's really, really difficult to describe, but it's a very weird shaped wand, but I like it. It definitely works on my lashes. So we're going to use the curl and length on this side. The one thing I don't like about this is that the tube is extremely chunky, so I find it quite cumbersome to hold and apply. It's the only thing I don't like. You get so much product with this. It's basically two mascaras for the price of one. So really, although it's quite an expensive mascara, for the amount of product that you get, it's very, very reasonable. So let's do the same with this one. I'm just going to pop it at the base of my lashes. Because both of the ones are quite thin, if you do have curled lashes, it makes it slightly easier to apply because you're not getting it absolutely everywhere. Just looks beautiful, really, really beautiful. I can't rate this mascara highly enough. I really like the Fenty mascara. I think the Fenty mascara is absolutely brilliant, but to me, this tops it. This is just phenomenal, really, really good, and great value for money with the amount of product that you get, which I know I've mentioned already, but it's worth mentioning again. Okay, I'm going to take the lengthening part and I'm just going to add it to the ends of my lashes. So once I've done this side with one coat of the volume and one coat of the length and curl, just on the tips, I have got a little bit on my eyelid, which I'll deal with in a bit. I'm just going to add another coat of the length and curl on this side, just so you can see the difference without the volume. There isn't masses of difference, but if you're wanting really voluminous lashes, I would recommend you use 2 coats of the volume rather than the length and the curl, because the length and the curl is a thinner consistency product. So that's both of those done, and if I zoom you in, you can definitely see the difference on this side. It's far, far more voluminous than this side, which has had the 2 coats of the length and curl. Both sides look absolutely fantastic, but this one is just slightly chunkier, and I've only put the volume at the base of the lashes and I've put the length and curl at the top of the lashes, and just really, really good results. Love that mascara, can't rave about it highly enough. It's just a great, great mascara. So I'm just going to put a little bit of the volume mascara right at the base of the lower lashes. I don't want a lot of mascara on my lower lashes for today's look, but I do want the tiniest amount. Okay, so on to the most anticipated part of this video, and that is the Wayne Goss portion. So we're going to try out some of these today. Firstly, I'm going to line my lips using the Essential Lip Pencil from Wayne, and this is in the shade Vintage Pink. So these are amazing. They are really soft, but not too soft. They're hard enough so that you can create the line, yet soft enough so it's not patchy. They're really waxy, so none of the beautiful hydrating lipsticks are actually going to bleed out of these if you create a really good line. Really, really simple to use, very easy to sharpen, and just really, really nice. So I got 2 shades of the Luxury Cream lipsticks. The first shade is Camellia, the second shade is Amaryllis. Both of these are beautiful. I was slightly disappointed when they came because on the website, this one was supposed to be a neutral pink, and this looks very, very orange. It's never looked pink in its life, unless it's put next to something that's very orange, in which case this looks quite pink. But on my lips, this doesn't really look pink. Let me show you on the back of my hand. So I'll just swatch this one. As you can see, this one looks really quite orangey, unless I pop it next to Camellia, which is more of a peachy tone. So once next to Camellia, which is a peachy tone, Amaryllis looks more pink. But if Amaryllis is on its own, it does look quite orangey on me, so I was slightly disappointed. I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more pink. Anyway, we're going to apply it because it's beautiful all the same, but I am going to be looking forward to getting some pinkier shades, which he does have available, by the way. It's just me that ordered this one because it said it was a neutral pink, and it just doesn't look as pink as I was hoping. So I will buy another one that should be more pink. I'm wanting a pink lipstick. These are so super hydrating. They are beautiful on the lip. they're just stunning. Absolutely fantastic. I am going to use a gloss on the top of this because, you know, why not? I've bought it, let's use it. This is in the shade Cherry Blossom and it's the High Shine Gloss. Now, when I first used this, this is so similar to the Hourglass glosses that are my favourites. I don't think this is as good as the Hourglass, but I am not complaining. The reason the Hourglass is my favourite is for a very, very good reason. It is ultra pigmented, it's seriously long lasting, it's plumping, it's just absolutely stunning. This does all that as well. It even tastes the same. It's got like a minty flavour. I just don't find this one lasts as long as the Hourglass one, but I mean, it's my second favourite. That's all I'm going to say. This one is unbelievable. If you've got this one, you don't need the Hourglass. And if you've got the Hourglass, you don't need this one. They are that similar. Very, very pretty. And I know my mum is going to love these lipsticks. Not necessarily these shades, I'll have to order her a different shade in it, but she's going to love them because they're really hydrating and they're very, very comfortable to wear. I would say that I tend to use 2 coats of these rather than just one because it looks a little bit patchy on my lips, these 2 shades that I've just tried on, with just 1 coat of the lipstick. It's like it's so hydrating, it just starts to separate a little bit, so you just need that second coat. Might not be the same for all of the other shades, but on my lip, and I do like to keep my lips hydrated, so it may be reacting with something on the lip, but I do find with the shades that I've bought, I do need 2 coats. So that's the finished look. Do let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. The only low point of this video really was the NATASHA DENONA Mini Star palette. And the palette itself is absolutely lush. It's just this shade here, which is slightly problematic. It's not as blue on the lid as it is in the pan, and it doesn't want to stick to anything that already has any sort of powder on it. So that was a little bit of an issue for me and a little bit of a low point, but all the other shadows in here make this worthwhile for me. So I'm not overly disappointed. Loved everything else. I am so happy that I love the GOSS lipsticks, and whilst I've been trying this out, I've been trying to be as impartial as possible because you all know that I absolutely love GOSS. I just think he is a little bit of a god, to be quite honest, so I really wanted to like these. Turns out I actually do, so that's even better. I do think it's a real shame that you have to order these from the US if you are trying to get them in the UK. These are only available on Beautylish, which isn't a real problem. They do arrive quite quickly and all the import duties and taxes are included within the price that you pay before they are shipped. I haven't worked out the actual price per lipstick once taxes and shipping is included. I should have done that. I will link it in the description box below for everybody. So I hope you've really enjoyed this video. I hope to see you all in the next one. Bye everyone.